Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to make the holder to hold these albums we just got finished making. I decided that we're only gonna, I originally thought it would hold 6 of these, but then that really doesn't give you enough room if you want to make yours a little bit bulkier. So we're gonna make it, it's gonna hold 5 and it'll give you some extra space. So it's very, very easy to make. Let's move that aside. Grab our, I already cut everything out just to save some time today. All right, so you're gonna need 2 pieces of chipboard. Now I like to use this chipboard. I get it off of Amazon. I'll link it below. It's by Graphics. So I really, really like this one. So I'll link that below. So you need 2 that are 6x6. So now you can either get the 6x6 packs or the 12x12 packs, whichever way you want. This is from the 12x12 pack. I ran out of 6x6, but either way, you're not gonna waste much anyways. So you need 2 of them that are 6x6. Then you're gonna need 3 of them that are 6x4. So 3 of them, 6x4, same thing, chipboard. Okay. Then we're gonna have some overlay pieces. Now I'm just using this. You can use whatever you want. I really like these watercolor papers from Craft Consortium. This is called Ink Drops, and I will link it if they still have it. But it's really, really pretty. The papers are really, really pretty. So I just want my outside to be kind of basic. You can, like, if you're making this into a Christmas, if you're going to make it Christmas themed, then you might want to make the box Christmas on the outside. It's up to you. But like I said, with this one, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be like an all occasion one. So then you need 2 pieces that are going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I'm going to use the pink, the side with a little bit of pink on it. So aren't those pretty though? Okay, so you need 2 5 3/4, and we'll go over the sizes again as we're doing them. Then you need 2 that are 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. Because you don't need to do the bottom. You don't need to put it on the bottom. So that's why you only need 2 pieces of those. Then you're going to need some binding strips. Binding strips are very easy to make. Just trying to see if I have a quick piece of paper here to show you. Here we go. We'll make a binding strip when it gets to that. Okay, so you need 6 binding strips that are 1 inch by 6 inches. I already put the tape and everything on them. Okay, and then you need 2 of them that are 4 by 1 inch. Okay, so let me show you where we're going to go. So I like to cut, this is what I always use for chipboard. I got a piece of chipboard in here, and this is what I always like to use. I think it's got the rotary blade. I think it cuts really, really well, my chipboard, and it doesn't take much pressure. So let's just cut. I'll just show you. We'll cut a little sample. Nothing for, I just lay down my whole fist, and then you just kind of pull on it. Usually you can hear when it cuts. So sometimes, you know, usually I'm standing above it. I'm sitting right now. Let's see if I got that in 1 pass. Nope, I think 2 passes. So it does cut really, really well. All right, so for binding strips, I'm using black because my box is black. All you need is it's always 1 inch. 1 inch wide by however long you need it. So you just cut a 1 inch. 1 inch piece. Let's move that off. We don't need this anymore. And then all you do is score it down the middle, where in this case it would be scored down at 1/2 inch. Because your binding strips are going to go on, pretend this is our box. Your binding strips are going to go on the edges to hold 2 pieces together, okay? So which we will go over. All right, so let's get started. Let's get this party started. Okay, put this back where it belongs. So let's start with one of those and one of those. So we're going to do a side piece right now, and we'll do a back piece right now. Okay. I like to put my binding strips, this is preference, but I like to put my binding strips on the outside, and I will show you. So I like to put mine on the outside, then it kind of covers up. Put mine on the outside like that. Some people will put them on the inside like this. So they'll hook them together on the inside. But then you kind of see this little, where it comes together. So you kind of see where it comes together. This hides it really, really well. And it'll just look like a nice smooth edge there. So all we're going to do is we're going to hook these two together just like that. So I'm going to take off my tape. And you can use glue here. I'm using tape. Otherwise, we're going to sit here and hold this all day. You don't want to see me do that. So all we're going to do is take it, and then we're just going to hook it on one side. And I just kind of lay it down flat. So remember, now this is the outside of our box. Now this is going to get covered up with paper, because when we come to take our paper, let me grab a sheet. We are going to, that seam is going to get, for the most part, covered up. About right about there. So for the most part, that binding strip is going to get covered up. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to hook the back wall on. Very easy to make. I make a lot of my own gift boxes and all that stuff. If I can make it, I'm going to make it, because the fun of it for me is to making it. The not so fun part is sometimes creating it, because yeah, I make a lot of stupid adding mistakes sometimes. Okay, so look how pretty that is now. See, it's got a nice flush. You can't even tell that, you know, we're joining anything. Now we got our back wall. We got a side wall. We're going to hook another back wall. So we're going to do the same process. Take one of our binding strips. Tape in the middle. Like I said, normally I do use glue all the time. When I'm making these for myself, I always use glue. But because we'd have to wait a while to let it dry before we can move on, we're using tape. If you're a tape person, use tape. It doesn't matter. It holds just the same. Okay, I'm just going to add this one on. Get it in there. I'm going to try to get it straight on there. So I'm going to flip this inside out so you can see. If you're putting your binding strips on the inside, this is what you would see on your outside. So that's why I put my binding strips on the outside, because then you have this nice smooth. Now this is your back. Now this would be back wall, your two side walls. So now it's either or. So I'm going to put on a bottom piece. Okay. To do that, let's take another 6 by 1 inch. Oh, I think I want to also angle these, because we're going to probably bump together. You can angle them. No, I think we'll be okay. Sometimes if you, let me see. Yeah, we'll be good. Sometimes if they're too tight together, and I'll do it on this one. If you would just take an angle just a little bit off of there on the ends, start with your scored end up. Now, you don't have to do this. I do it sometimes. Then it'll take some of that bulk off. You see, it'll take some of the bulk off there for you. And then your pieces won't maybe overlap. But these ones aren't real overlapping. So we're going to be fine when it closes. So we're going to be fine on that. Put these over there out of our way. So let's, again, here we have, just so we don't get confused, we have our two sides and our back wall. I'm going to put a binding strip on one of the side walls. And I'm just going to, if you just lay that crack in there, where we folded it over, if you just lay that right on top of there, you're going to get it on there nicely. Just like that. And then let's put the one on the back wall, our 4-inch strip. Same thing. Just make sure you got it on there even from side to side. And then now another 6-inch one. Okay. Really, really easy. on there, make sure I'm on the edge. Oh, I'm on the edge sometimes. There we go. Now you have your little binding strips on there. Okay. So now all we're going to do is we're going to be adding in our piece like this. Okay, so we're going to just go down. It's going to look just like that. Now at this point, this can be the top or the bottom. It really doesn't matter. Knocking things over. You know, my desk is never big enough. Anybody else had that problem? Seriously. I go bigger and it's still not big enough. Okay. Now we're going to bring it up. Make sure we're all level. You want to make sure you're nice and square. Then we're going to take the strip off here. And we'll bring it around. And again, make sure you're square. And I just kind of go around and kind of keep moving it around and rub the sides. Now, you got your bottom, or it could be your top at this point. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do the same thing to this other side. This front will stay open because that's where our album will slide in. Now, I made this. This album is a 6x6 album. I wanted you to be able to use a 6x6 so that you wouldn't have to, you'd waste a lot of 12x12 sheets if we went 6 1/4. So I wanted to stay the box 6x6. So it's going to kind of be almost flush to the end. You can see where it's just maybe, which is fine. But if you want the album to fit in a little bit more, then go with a 6 1/4. But like I said, I didn't want you guys to waste a lot of chipboard. Chipboard it's not real expensive, this brand, but I'm a little stingy with my chipboard. I have my Cricut chipboard. That is what I like to use for when I'm using my Cricut and I'm cutting out shapes and stuff. And that is the only, this I will cut sometimes, but it just does not cut real well on a Cricut. I like Cricut's chipboard, cuts really well on the Cricut. So now we're going to put this one in. Make sure I'm in there. See how easy this is to do? Not hard at all. And then you have a cute little storage box to store these cute little albums you're going to make. Be a nice gift. We'll talk about that after this. Okay, now see, again, we're right there again. So what I'm going to do is just put it on its side so that we can see when we kind of move all these can come out right now. Okay. Thought I heard my dogs barking. I'm like, why are you barking? You're down for the night. They also do bark in their sleep, which kills me. So funny. Okay, so now I just want to push this one in there. And I want to make sure I am even. And then we can bring that piece up. And then I'll bring it back. Oops, I can see right there. I got it off just a little bit. She is barking up there. Something must have got her. There we go. There we go. Don't press your tape down until you know for sure it's lined up, because it sticks well. I lightly kind of put it, like, I'll just kind of lightly just gonna put it on there. I'm making sure I'm rounded. So I just kind of lightly put it on there until I make sure it's all rounded, squared. And then before I put it down. Okay, one more. Before we put it down. Okay. Now this with this one. Just want to make sure it's your last piece. Everything's square. Look at that. Everything came out for once on camera. So now I just go around and I'll just kind of turn it and then push down all the seams. And you can use a scoring tool if you want, or, you know, yes, I have the fancy scoring tools, but I mostly use my hands most of the time, which get me into trouble because then I get paper cuts more often than not. All right, there is your box. See how easy that was? And your albums will fit nicely. And we're gonna go and put paper on just a second. I'll show you. Let me bring it this way. Kind of put these in there. Four and then 5. That gives you, see, we could put another one in there, but it made it pretty tight then. And then I don't want you cramming them in. This way it gives you some space because we already did this one and we don't even have the photos in this one yet. When I went and put that in my sample one upstairs, it made it pretty tight and that one was decorated. But see how much you'll get all this space in between each one now? You still get 5 albums. Wouldn't that make a nice gift? Now what I do, here's what I do, is what I usually do is, now these are all blank, ready to go, is I'll usually make up the box, whichever box, you know, I've made different type boxes that hold different type albums. If you want to see more, let me know, because I got lots. So I made all these up already. These are ready to go. Then I leave them in here if I have a box, if I decide to do a box. So I leave them in here. And then when I'm ready to gift it or whatever I'm going to do, that's when I'll decorate everything with the paper then. Oh, I'm getting caught on the paper there. So that's when I'll go and decorate it. Because maybe I'll make the whole thing a Christmas album. Maybe I'll make maybe like, you know, a year of baby ones and stuff like that. That's how I do that. Then you're ready to go, and it doesn't take long to put paper in. You've seen, you know, if you're doing this not on video, it doesn't take that long to put paper in there. You can feel the weight on that one. It's nice. All right, now let's put our paper on. Here I'll glue. I've got, again, 2 sheets of 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Beautiful. I'm going to put that on there. Again, tape, glue, whatever. Here we can glue because I don't need as much time for this to dry. And it dries on paper pretty quickly. This edge just a little bit more. All right. I'm just going to lay that down. I'm going to pick it up just a little bit so I can make sure I'm somewhat straight. I'm not, because you don't have too much time with the glue. Now I already did it now, so usually I'm standing above my project a little bit so that I can see. Okay. Press from the inside a little bit. Okay, now we can do the back. Beautiful. Okay. Get this somewhat up just a little bit maybe. And if you don't want to leave a border, you don't have to leave a border. That's up to you. I like a little color showing. And you can, like, you don't have to do this in black either. I did this one in black. You can get white chipboard and you can get the craft chipboard. The white one, the craft is craft on both sides. The white one is white on one side and craft on the other side. I just kind of like the black because we did the black albums. So I want to do the black. Okay, so now we have, where are we on this side? So go here, put this one there. And then you can decorate the box if you want. I'm not going to decorate the box because, like I said, I don't know where this one is going yet. Because I could put a title on it if I want. If I'm giving it to someone, I could put the person's name on it. I can put, if it's all Christmas, I could put Christmas, some kind of Christmas theme thing on it. Title. Just depends. So I just thought this was really pretty, like an all occasion paper. Now we'll put the last one on top. Like I said, you don't need to do the bottom. No one's going to see that bottom unless you need to do the bottom. That's up to you. Now I left my box open because I didn't feel like it needs any kind of closure on this box. It's easy for them just to slide in and out. Come down a little bit. Okay, and there is your box. Isn't that pretty? No time at all to do that. Let's fly back in. And you can see, like, right there, I'm pushing that one tight against the one that we already did. And we put a little bit of embellishment on it, not going tight. That's why I wanted to leave here. Now, that one I can push tight, and there's like hardly no gap. But that one, because it's already, we have stuff in that one. I'm trying to find that. So that gives you plenty of extra space to hold them. And then you just kind of put like this. And then what I would do is label, if it's like, maybe this is five years of Christmas. You know, you can put Christmas 2024, Christmas 2025, you know, first 5 years of your child's, you know, special occasions or something like that. Then you just put your title down the front like that. And then you can, look how pretty that would be to display. And then you can, depending on, like I said, what you want to do, you can put this whole like flower embellishment on top, or there's a lot you can do. You can put, of course, cutouts on top, pretty, you know, different pictures and stuff, or just leave it plain like that. So that is our mini album all finished. I'll put this out like that. We have the box and the mini album. So I hope you enjoyed this series, guys. Next will probably be junk journal. I have a request for a bird theme one. I do not have everything I need for it yet. We might have 1 week in between here that I won't have anything on album day, which is what, Tuesdays? Just bear with me and I will be back. Well, I'm out here other days too. So, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more that have cases, a box, or whatever, just let me know in the description below and I will work on something. All right, guys, see you later.